Hello and welcome to Racers Now. It is the final day of our flat season. It's British Champions Day at Ascot on Saturday, the 19th of October. The official end to the flat season. It will be when SD, who is absolutely flying and has been flying all season, will receive 50 English pounds from me as a result of being a mile clear, which included the winner of the Cesar Rich on Saturday at 20-1. Where are you going to get?
Betfair SP was 74.
Where are you going to get this? 148 points in front since March the 22nd is SD, is the best in the business. It's free here on Racers Now every Thursday night, but this is a Monday night anti-post special with SD. How are you? That hair looks beautiful. Look at the flow you've got on that mop on your head. Very close up this evening, SD.
Well, yeah, I'll show you why I'm close up, should I?
Okay. Yes,
unfortunately, just before we came on air,
what did you have for dinner, mate?
Some pasta thing.
And you got most of it down your shirt?
Yeah. I mean, who can miss a mouth like mine?
Well, yeah, exactly. Right, Champions Day, we know what it is. SD will probably claim he doesn't like it in the course of this video, but the straight course is currently soft. The round course is currently heavy, soft in places. They had 10 mil overnight to Monday. They've got a further 17 mil apparently forecast around Friday before racing. There is the option to switch to the inner course that they usually use for jumps that isn't watered through the summer, if heavy appears in the description at 8 a.m. on Thursday. I hope I've got that right, but it is pretty complicated. They don't want bad ground. They are going to try to avoid it. They can try and avoid it by going to the jumps course. Has it happened before for the round course races? I think it has happened once, yeah. So the likes of the Champion Stakes itself, the QE2, the Champion Stakes itself, the Fillies and Mares, and the Long Distance Cup could be switched to the inner course to avoid the soft ground, heavy ground at the moment. But the straight course racers, the Champion Sprint, the QE2, and the Balmoral handicap will stay on the straight course somewhat may, come what may. Is that about right?
It is about. I mean, the entire thing is a complete and utter farce. I mean, Ascot's usually near enough underwater at this time of the year, but they just keep flogging this Wellington boot leaden horse, don't they? It really does detract from the spectacle when they're finishing like 3 mile chases. I'm sorry, it's completely and utterly wank.
I just don't know what they will do, SD, though, because it has given a focus to the end of the British season that I don't think we had before. Yes, it's introduced some new racers. It comes at an okay time in terms of
no.
weeks after the Arc, but it comes in a bad time of the year in terms of bad rain.
There was no need. We had a perfectly good Champions Day at Newmarket. We had the Dewhurst on that card. We had the QE2, which was invariably run on decent ground toward the end of September, and now we're just faced with this hodgepodge of apparently Premier, the absolute apex running, blah blah blah. I mean, we'll go on to it later in the video, but it is highly unsatisfactory. I suppose it appeases the Qataris somewhat, the mediators in the Middle East peace process, but nevertheless, we shouldn't get onto the ethics of this.
The Champion Stakes, if it is the champion race in the UK, to run that Newmarket, as you go back to in yesteryear, that's basically having the cup final at somewhere like Kenilworth Road.
Why?
Because
explain to me.
Because
Ascot at Newmarket.
Ascot,
they run the July Cup at Newmarket.
Yes, they do, but they cannot get enough people through the door. It is not in a great location for
it's not bloody Cambridge, the biggest. It's an hour and a half from London. I just do not go through this. Absolutely.
Ascot, yeah, but Ascot is the Wembley of British racing. That is
it is to you, but
that is a fact. That is a fact.
The fact of the matter is that there was nothing wrong with it before, and of course we had the Champion 2-year-old race on the card before, but now. They've gone for this absolutely ridiculous thing of dilution and putting. I mean, we'll come on to Art Power later on. Art Power won the bloody Champion Sprint last year. That's actually
Breeze won it.
What?
Breeze won it. No, from a punting perspective.
So the point is that you're not. It's Champions Day, and you're getting horses who are best on soft ground. It is highly unsatisfactory.
From a punting perspective, over the years, and as every year goes by, I dislike it more and more, and it throws up I think it throws up freak results. I think it throws up freak results, but you can tell why they've done it because Ascot is the best racecourse in the country. It's as simple as that. It can get the most. It's in London. It can get the most. It's got the best facilities. It can get the most people in. It's got the best grandstands. Like you can talk about Hexham. You can talk about Hexham and Redcar, SD. Just be honest. Ascot is the premier venue in the UK. It is.
Bollocks.
So what is then? It's not Newmarket.
I don't think there is a premier racecourse on the flat.
Come on, SD. Come on. Like Wembley's the premier. I mean, that's maybe the wrong avenue to go down, but it's the premier racecourse in the UK. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Whether you like it or not.
Harp on about these analogies to football. If you want to go and watch football, bugger off to Wembley. Honestly.
Right. Okay. I wasn't actually on the agenda to have an argument, but no surprise.
You're just talking out your bloody bald arse.
Right, SD. The long distance cup. I've covered all these races on solo videos on the channel already, so we have gone into quite a lot of detail. We're just going to get some comment and update on the markets as we go. Long distance cup is the first race on the card on Saturday. Kyprios is odds on. Aidan currently has 6 of the 13 entered, most of which won't run, probably 5 of which won't run. Trawlerman won last year, beating Kyprios. Trawlerman's 3-1, hasn't been seen since June. I'm not saying you've got a bet in the race, SD, but any comment?
Not at this stage. The thing I would say is Kyprios is vulnerable in this race. Time has shown this, it's going to be a slogfest, isn't it? If I was having a bet at this stage, and you are going to laugh, I'll wait for the decks on Thursday, but I'd back Point Lonsdale. Yeah, I'll see if he runs first, but if he's a daft price, he's a chance.
Yeah, well, he's 66-1 outsider of the field at the moment. I remember I had quite a strong opinion on Point Lonsdale when he ran in that Lonsdale Cup at York, and he does not stay. It's as simple as that, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, there we are.
I think that's.
But that's what I would bet at this.
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
Fair enough. Right, the second race is the Champion Sprint. Has thrown up some strange results over the years. Remember last year, in the first 2 races, Kyprios and Kinross both got beat at 101 in running, and both return again this year. But yeah, Champion Sprint. I just noted earlier, pretty open, 4-1 the field at the moment. There's 22 entered, 20 max can run. They will chop and change on Thursday when the final decks. July Cup winner Millstream is entered, and we've not seen that one since early August, where he disappointed at Deauville. Missed a couple of big Group 1 sprints since then, particularly at Haydock. I put up Unequal Love about 3 weeks ago at 14. She's now 8-1. SD has had his eye on Flora of Bermuda for a range of races, so might want to comment on her.
Well, she's a chance, certainly, but does she? I'm not convinced she wants hot, deep ground. And the problem is with her that the market has found her. She may well drift as we approach final decks, but I'd rather keep my powder dry at this stage. So there's any number of possible winners. I mean, I got this down to Kinross, Montessee, Unequal Love, Flora Bermuda, Swing Along, Art Power, Burkina Forte. So look, I don't see the point in playing the race from an anti-post angle at this stage. I'd rather see what happens on Thursday and what transpires. There is some rain forecast Wednesday as well. Never know, they might call it off and it will be held at its rightful location where they could actually race.
Well, this race to a traditionalist side doesn't have a rightful location because it's a new race.
No, it doesn't. It shouldn't exist.
It's a new race. Bucanero Forte, I think, wants quick ground, so I can't see that one running. His profile doesn't suggest he has to have it, but I think he might be best at it. I'll be sending him to over to America if it was up to me. Yeah, I put up Unequal already. I made a shout out last time for Borvatier. And will do again, not pointing up as an official bet. Might do on Thursday if it's declared. But yeah, was an eye catcher in the foray at Longchamp a couple of weeks ago when drawn very badly. On to race number 3 on Saturday, the 2:35 is the Group 1 Fillies and Mares Stakes. You do often get quite a few that are double entered in it, mainly trained by Ed O'Brien in this race and the Champion Stakes itself, but not so much this year. There's not that many double entries. Calpana, 7-4 favourite, still has to be questioned on this ground. Has to be a big question mark on this ground as far as I can see. Really quite good at Kempton. Obviously safe for this one since. But yeah, big question mark on that ground. I can see her going off bigger than 7-4. Aidan's got 5 of the 19 entered. And the shortest price of them at the moment is Content at 10-1. And I think she wants quick ground as well. So yeah, I wouldn't be interested in her either. Any thoughts from USD?
Yeah, I thought there was a bet in this round. I agree with you on Calpana. I mean, there's got to be a doubt about her running, hasn't there?
Yeah.
She's for all the world to me a fast round horse.
Yeah.
There's a question mark, of course, about that she was sexy at Kempton, wasn't she? We put her up at Kempton, but what exactly did she beat? Well, she beat Lion's Pride. Hamish disappointed in the race. There wasn't, the Northumberland Plate winner was only beaten 7 lengths. So I think purely from a form point of view, I'm not sure the ground's right. You've got to take her on, and that then makes this a race to play. I have to say, this German horse, Quantanamera, who absolutely loves it in hot, deep ground, beat a rest last time at Deauville. That's probably, up there with the best form in the race. And I couldn't quite figure out why she was 14-1. She looked for all the world actually improved going up in trip last time. She's got some Group 1 form on the continent, and I thought she'd have a tracking chance here. I thought 14's. Strictly from a form perspective, she's up there. We know she goes on the ground, whereas you've got to question whether some of these actually go on the ground. I mean, Time Lock does, but Time Lock, has been beaten on enough occasions to know the ceiling of her ability. Tiffany, well, I keep going back to the Lancashire Oaks, where ultimately she was whooped by Queen of the Pride, wasn't she?
Yep.
Obviously, Queen of the Pride is in here, but again, I'd have doubts on very, very bad ground. We don't know what course it'll be on. I would assume they'll run on the Jumps course, but certainly this German horse may well take the beating. I'm not very fluent in German, or I'd have come up with some witticism.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of them that's pretty difficult to get a hold on the form, really, for people like me. Running at
beat to rest.
Cologne, Hamburg, Munich, and Deauville. Yeah, but this Fantastic Moon that they were going on about got absolutely walloped by Fantastic Moon, out of sight kind of job, and that was in their big race. Sorry, that was in a Group 2 at Cologne in June. Yeah. Look, I'm not putting you off, but it's just wouldn't be my angle into the race. I do think there's quite a few to come out here that aren't going to like the ground, depending obviously on what course it's run on.
I have a feeling Calpana might not run.
I would be with you.
If it's heady, you're in trouble, aren't you?
Yeah, and there's 2 ways in which this race could fall apart from an anti-post market perspective. A is Aidan O'Brien, as mentioned, and B is Calpana. If either she comes out or runs a stinker. They risk it and runs a stinker, because I just don't see anything in Calpana's makeup that we've seen so far that suggests she's gonna go well on bad ground. I just can't see it at all. So as a result, I'm putting up a bet in this one as well, SD. Time Lock for me. I might well have even put this horse up for this race last year. Comes in to this race in very similar form, actually. Has not done a whole lot in 3 starts, in the first 3 starts in 2024, then turns up at Newmarket for what they call the Dubai Stakes, and for the second year running, wins that by over 4 lengths. 29th of September 23, won it by 4 1/4 lengths. Some good horses in behind that won that really well. This year, 27th September, 3 weeks ago, won by 5 lengths. That was on soft ground this time. I think she'll run here. She ran here last year, actually. Only went off 5-1, actually, for this last year from a low draw. I think she was drawn in 1 or 2 and missed the kick. and that was virtually race over in a 14-runner field. Hopefully she doesn't do the same this year. And she comes here in very similar form to last year, where she went off 5-1. She's currently, and last year's renewal was no better than this one. Might have been worse. This one might be worse actually, and she's available at 10-1 now. And SD, one of your favourite lines into an anti-post race, she is what we call jocked up. William Buick, hopefully to do the riding for Harry Charlton. I think that's on the assumption that Kalpana is the first choice Juddmonte horse in this race, even though trained by a different trainer. Anyway, I see no reason.
I just wonder with her if she's a better horse on the Rolling Mile. I think it's noteworthy. Her two best performances have come in that race, and she did win her maiden on the Rolling Mile as well.
Yeah.
And she's a bit exposed, isn't she?
Yeah. Possibly. I'm just looking at their comment from a couple of weeks ago saying the Hong Kong Vars in December might be some soft Group 1 for us. So anyway, look, I'm that far behind SD.
It could be a soft Group 1. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going with Time Lock. SD is on the German horse that I'm not going to try and pronounce. Right, the 3:15 is the QE2 over a straight mile. I've already put Charyn up for this race, not because I think it's going to do me wonders for making inroads into the massive deficit to SD. That's done and dusted. But just on the fact that I've said for some weeks now that I think Charyn will go off odds on for this race. I think he's head and shoulders above the rest. 5-4 best price. Like I say, I do genuinely think that'll be odds on when the day comes around. But there's 16 in at the 5-day stage, so that many runners might stop that happening. But look, I've already said it. I'm already committed to it. I think he's head and shoulders above this lot. Prague has been supplemented at a cost of £70,000. We like Dylan Cooner. He's an up-and-coming trainer. New kid on the block. Prague's a new kid on the block as well. Won really well in the Joel Stakes. Really well. He's in there at 8-1. And then after that, I just don't think there's a hell of a lot.
Well, there's Tamfana.
Yep, Tamfana has got to show it against the boys. It's as simple as that for Tamfana. I said on the video last week that she would, her and Prague are the most obvious contenders to Charyn at the top of the market.
How about an even score? Charyn goes off at even money or bigger.
Yes, and Charyn will be odds on.
Okay.
What SP? All right,
SP.
Charyn will be odds on. So what? So you win on even money?
Yes.
And I lose on even money. All right, Sam, done.
Okay. I think it's slightly more open than you've suggested. I think Charyn has had a bloody long season. And
that's correct.
Quite frankly, a slog here. I mean, it's just not that sexy. I just cannot believe he's improved that much. I find it hard to believe. Tamfana's perfectly meritorious as a danger. I may well back Prague later in the week. I think that Joel Stakes was pretty good. They've got a very decent horse there who goes on the ground. You couldn't really make a case for the rest of them, could you?
I was considering making a case for one, but I think I might wait.
Well, Factor Cheval, maybe.
No.
Probably gets a place.
What do you think, SD, of Royal Scotsman? You could talk me into a bet here if you're not careful.
Well, look, I did look at him. I thought he was unfortunate last week at Newmarket.
Race very much alone.
To be frank, I think he's a 7 furlong horse, and I think he'll run out of petrol. But
possible. That's fair. Yeah, possible.
That was my opinion. But it wouldn't surprise me if Jamie did a bit of Jamie magic. He's going to have to go from the front on bad ground. I suspect he'll weaken out a bit. I'm not 100% he'll run. They've got to think, well, we might go to wherever with him. I'm sure he's got some continental targets. I think continental racing would actually suit him round bends. I think he'd whip round straight to the front and off you go.
Well, I have got my eye on Royal Scotsman. I was umming and ahhing about whether to put him up. I've not backed him yet. I'm going to wait till Thursday to see if he is declared. But it's clearly not been easy to get right. He's had injury problems, but he's come back at Newmarket a couple of weeks ago. Last week, 7 furlong Group 2. bit of a soft group too, to be fair. But that was after a 132-day break. Finished second there and actually raced completely alone up the stand-side rail and still finished second. Likes to front run. That's what they did at Epsom. That was good to soft, but this is very different.
I mean, you do get results on this day. So,
you did last year.
You know, you can't put people off putting something up at a massive price, can you? Yeah. And this is again, you know, there are some signs about this Charyn. I don't think he'll go off odds on. I think he'll go off 13-8, to be honest.
Okay, so I have got my eye on Royal Scotsman, but haven't made it official as yet. Right, the Champion Stakes itself, 737 grand to the winner, 10 furlongs. Economics versus Calandagan, that's pretty much it. It's still on. It has been for some time. Calandagan couldn't run in the Arc due to being a gelding, was second behind City of Troy in the Juddmonte before that. Economics, of course, has been a softly approach, but did win the Irish champion on his last start. More runners than I was expecting at this early stage, 17, although I think a fair few of them might well end up coming out. They're either double entered or trained by Aidan O'Brien or both.
Aidan's muted that LA mine around there, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
surprised you're not back in King's Gambit, that oven ready.
Yeah, I got that wrong.
From
I said
handicap.
I said that was a Group 1 horse Austin had this year, and it is not proven. So, yeah, LA might run, but, you know, last time he ran over 10 furlongs, they were saying they were doing it to grab a place for third or fourth and be a prep run for the Arc. Now he's coming back. I mean, I thought he ran okay enough in the Arc, but tried to lead early, didn't he?
There's a few of yours in here. I'm surprised you're not going to combination tricast to See the Fire, Persica, Los Angeles, in Luxembourg, King's Gambit.
There's a lot.
I mean, it's a Smido wet dream.
Yeah, there is. But yeah, no, I do. I don't really care how many other runners there is, to be honest. I think Economics versus Calandagan's a cracker. I think Economics.
Well, it would be on decent ground, wouldn't it? Oh my God! I've suddenly switched Racing Post radio on. How the bloody hell do you stop this? Oh, there we are. Oh no! Jesus!
Right, SD's going on mute while he sorts that. I've been an Economics man for some time. I think he's the most exciting horse in training. Maybe that's because he is less exposed than the likes of City of Troy, because he's been improved it. This looks ideal for Economics for me, this Ascot race. I think soft ground's fine. Biblical bad ground, you know, questions everybody. But I think soft ground's fine. I think the track's fine. Nice long straight to get him into a full stride. I just think this is a perfect race for Economics. But
how do you know soft ground's fine?
Well, he's ran on heavy ground at Newmarket. He won his day.
He finished fourth in a maiden.
Yeah. He still went on it.
So he ran to a mark of about 70.
Yeah, but the way they've gone such a softly approach with this horse, they clearly think it is very good, and they've to this stage been proven right. So they risked him. I mean, they didn't have to risk him on every ground first start. Good to soft at Newbury. Obviously, that was nowhere near heavy. We were there that day. I think he'll be fine on soft. But the more I've looked at it, and regular viewer Dale Nichols has been in my ear for weeks saying that Calandagan at 2-1 against Economics 5-4, Calandagan's the value. I don't agree with it. I'm an Economics man, but maybe I'm drawn into the hype rather than the form. But the French gelding Calandagan was if you go a form line through the likes of Blue Stocking, he was 7 lengths in front of Blue Stocking in the Juddmonte, Calandagan. Clearly the closest horse to get to City of Troy, who we were led to believe and were told was very, very good in the Juddmonte. Calandagan was the only horse that got anywhere near him. He was 7 lengths in front of Blue Stocking. Blue Stocking then went and won the Arc, 12 lengths in front of Shin Emperor. And that Japanese star was 1 length behind Economics at Leopardstown. Now you are connecting dots.
You're looking at
SD, I'm not. It's not me looking at it. We're connecting dots. I don't usually look at them like that, but I'm like I said, Dale has been in my ear telling me this for a few weeks.
Well,
I wouldn't go that far.
I probably agree with Dale, but not on that.
It's not different on that. Grounds.
Completely. To take Shin Emperor as
tracks.
Yeah.
But Shin Emperor did run really well in the Irish.
Just get this thing here on background. You could just see the French frog just leaping into the lead, couldn't you?
Yeah, but saying that though, SD, his 2 career best performances by far have been on officially good to firm ground. Ascot, where he wazzed in by 6 lengths, and then the Juddmonte was on pretty quick ground as well. Good to that was proper.
Yeah, but that also correlates with him improving. I I think he'd be more suited to the conditions than economics, to be honest. Whether or not I'll back him, I'll decide later in the week.
Possibly. I like economics. And it's a no bet. It's a no bet. I like economics. It's a 2-horse race.
Wouldn't it be a better race at Newmarket on good ground?
Would it be a better race virtually anywhere?
Would it be a better race at Newmarket on good ground?
Yeah, but who's to say Newmarket's going to be good ground in the middle of October? How did they get on last week?
They weren't so bloody far off on Saturday, were they?
Not sure about
Newmarket would. I'd love Andrew Morris to walk it on Saturday morning and give us a going description. There's a job for you, Andrew.
Well, they might well, but the problem is, ST, they struggle to get 10,000 in, and you can get 40,000 in at Ascot. Simple economics to me. Right, the final race on the Champions Day card is.
You think that the Champions Day card is correlated to attendance?
I think that would be a very large factor. Yeah, I think getting all the races on one day, which they've done, they have introduced some new ones. But yeah, I think culminating it in one day. I think attendance is definitely part of it. It's got to be. Okay. They can get 4 times as many people in at Ascot as they can. No, not as they can. They do get 4 times as many people at Ascot as you would get.
Well, I don't think a lot of them's there for the racing. They're just to get the plastic tits out.
But you could say that about.
Well, you wouldn't get that at Newmarket.
Well, they had students at Newmarket on Saturday. They had students at York on Saturday. So you've got a problem with that. Then you've got a problem with plastics at Ascot. It ain't going to affect you. You're going to be at Catterick.
The racing is better at Newmarket. I think the point was proven over the course of 15 years.
Balmoral handicap, straight mile. We've seen many dancers like this throughout the season. There's a whole host of them entered at the moment. 42, maximum field of 20. Do you have an anti-post bet in the Balmoral SD?
Yes.
Crack on.
Is the answer. I think a lot of these either won't go on the ground, Thunder Run's one of them, or are 7 furlong horses. What has happened is a lot of Kira, maybe one of those. So they don't have their conditions, do they? I think there's a lot of unexposed ones. If you ask me to pick one on the top of the market, I'd probably put up the Irish Sing State Act. We might put that up on Thursday. But surely this Empire State of Mind wants a mile on soft ground, has run well at Ascot before, actually very well at Ascot before when third. His record on soft or heavy ground is pretty darn good, and he won at York last week. He's in form. I thought 40-1 for a horse whose optimal conditions he's facing, he might not be good enough, but 40-1 each way is a bit of a. I thought that was the wrong price.
The weights probably came out for this before he ran down the field in the Cambridgeshire, but then he's won, so
he'll get a penalty. He'll get a penalty. He's got a £6 penalty.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Yep. Soft ground gets a mile. Yep, fair enough. Loads of familiar names in there. And I'll probably end up putting one of them up at Final Decks. Right, okay, SD. We went off piste a couple of times there, but yeah, there is plenty.
We did. Yeah. And of course, Thursday we'll be previewing the best race of the weekend, the Catterick Dash. When Moon's in, Curious Rover's in. We'll see on the draw, won't we?
The Catterick Dash, which takes place at about midday. That's right, isn't it?
Well, it's a bit later. The first race is the Cracker Shite. All covered in my weekly column, which will be available when somebody presses the button. SD's weekly written column is available on Odds Now on every Tuesday morning. So when it's available tomorrow, I'll put it in the description and we'll tweet it as well. Right, thank you, SD. We'll be back Thursday. Yes, goodbye.